declare and decree in this season, I will submit to the voice of the Holy Spirit calling my name. I am walking in the fullness of His purpose and plan for me and my life. It is my reaping season.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of She Emerged, the podcast and the Launch the Vision Sis video blog. So we are on week 5 of the Launch the Vision Sis devotional. And if you are new and you're just getting here or just joining us for the first time, however you got here, we are exploring my 30-day Launch the Vision Sis devotional. It is a devotional that is geared toward helping you find the vision that God has for you, that thing that He's locked down on the inside. And so for the next couple of weeks, I will be going through a day, each day of the journal with you. If you would like to get a copy so that you can follow along with us, it is available at ShalomarSherie.com, along with the host of other informative books and things that I have there. There is a line of journals, notebooks, planners to meet every need. We have a 90-day self-care journal. We have a content creators planner for those who use content creating to build and launch their brand, walking you through the process of how to make that algorithm work for you. I have a prayer journal, and just a bunch of other resources and tools that you can use from your healing journey to getting whole to launching your vision, things that you can use just to help you along the way with some verbal prompts. Also, my book, She Emerged, The Manifestation of Me, which is my memoir, is also still available with the accompanying interactive journal as well to help you work through those traumas. So from, trauma to just being your best self, I'm sharing my journey and the tools and resources that God has given me to pour out into you. So I hope you find something there useful. And again, thank you so much for joining me. So here we are on day 5, and I really hope you guys are enjoying this. I am enjoying being able to interact with you all. And today's devotional, or the day 5 devotional, title is No Fear. Whew, okay. So the scripture that was given to me in reference to no fear comes from John chapter 14, verse 27, and it reads as thus: "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." That is a mouthful, but a loving reminder of, God's heart for us. And so, when I was drawn to that scripture, it was also speaking to me, because this is a faith walk to get on here and share my story and sow into you and be open and honest. And just being in front of this camera is nerve-wracking, and it takes a lot, and it's an absolute faith walk to honor what God has told me to do and be obedient in what He has called me to do, and what I believe that He has called me to do and assured me that I'm supposed to be doing. It is an absolute faith walk, especially if you are not comfortable being on display. I love the background. It is just my happy space, my comfort zone. But so being on the front lines can be a little bit nerve-wracking, but again, I appreciate you all for joining me and being supportive. Whew. So sis, in order to begin the journey of walking in your promise, aside from nurturing your relationship with God, you must also be actively working on your relationship with yourself. And we have talked about this on this platform since the beginning. Your healing, your healing is important. You are important. Your health is important. Your mental health status is important. Your spiritual health is important, because you are a key component in God's plan for you and his plan for the kingdom, because whatever you do for him plays a part in the kingdom, and that makes you important. No matter how big or small that role is, it is important. Every piece to a car is necessary in order for that car to run, all the way down to the smallest bolt. It is important because without that one key component, the car won't move, or it won't move as effectively as it could and should, because missing that key component. So no matter where you are, you have to understand, know, and believe, and get to a place where you are comfortable with knowing that you are important. Um, you have to, launching God's vision for your life will require you to be both spiritually healthy and mentally healthy. You must start the process of reconditioning your mind not to hold on to things that stress you out, and not to be intimidated or fearful of walking in the unknown. When and I'm speaking from experience, when God starts shifting you into unknown, uncharted territory, that is uncomfortable. When he pulls you from what you've known, your comfort zone, things that you are used to, that routine, and throws you into the depths of something unfamiliar, it can be very much scary. It can be concerning. You're like, oh my God, what do I do? How do I man this? This is not what I'm familiar with. This is not what I'm used to. And as you grow and learn, of course, he's going to give you the tools, especially if you're praying strategically. He's going to give you the tools you need to maneuver it. It's just getting to a place where you can pray strategically to maneuver it. It's all a process and an overcoming process, because there is a natural fear there. We are human beings. Not all of us wake up with a cape on. Some of us have to work hard at overcoming and being strong in the unknown, and especially a restart. If you've been in a place and space, a job, a friendship, a relationship for a long time, it has become your routine, it has become your habit, and now you have to break away from that and you find yourself in uncharted waters. You now have to figure out the new space, the new place, the new people, the new things, and discern what's good and what's not, what's great and what ain't. Like, it's a heavy process, and especially if you are in a healing process and an overcoming process, in the midst of him transitioning you into a new career, into a new vision. And if it's not something that you envisioned for yourself, we spoke about what the promise looks like to us as opposed to what the promise looks like to God. And if that promise don't look like what you thought it would look like, you are totally unprepared. It can be scary. And so working through that fear and preparing yourself, for the next, can be heavy. You just have moments. For myself, I just have moments where I'm like, what am I doing, and why am I doing this, and what is on the other side? And that's natural. That's okay. You just have to also be okay with receiving whatever those divine instructions are, and have yourself in a place where you can actually receive them. Healthy fear is great. It means you won't do anything foolish, but crippling fear will prevent you from moving, and it will hold you stagnant. And we spoke of what being stagnant can do, not just for you, but for the people attached to you. Overcoming fear is a process. So you have to condition your mind to believe that you can, and then you have to condition your mind to actually take that leap of faith. And because I'm a person who's big on writing down your qualms, writing down your issues, trying to figure it out, seeing it tangible on paper, write the vision and make it plain. When you write the vision and make it plain, it's tangible. You see it, it's attainable. And then you can go down and the checklist, and kind of figure out what I can do right now in this season, in this moment. And then prepare yourself for the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. So I'm big on writing because it gives me something tangible to look at, and allows me to see that it is possible. If I can actually see it, and I'm, listening to God and I'm writing it all down, then it helps, brings me comfort that it is possible to do exactly what God has called you, to do. When you're walking in your promise and you're trying to discern and feel and feel all the different distractions and things that are coming for you, that is when your relationship with God becomes ever more important, because who better to guide you than the person who created than the God who gave you the plan. So that is why having a relationship with him and being in alignment with him is super important, because it's going to give you those answers that you need. And in order to get those answers, you have to be willing to listen, wait, be patient, and hear, and wait for his answer. And even if it doesn't come right away, that's okay. Then you be patient and you wait for it, and it'll come in his time. Because when you do things in God's perfect timing, they work better. When we get ahead of ourselves and we do things out of alignment with God, they tend to get real messy real fast. Even if they work for about 5 seconds, at some point you're going to hit a bump in the road because you didn't wait for that divine instruction. Whereas had you waited and allowed him to give you his plan and his purpose and his timing, it will work out, because he's God. He's a God that cannot lie, will not lie, and doesn't lie, because why? He's not a man. He does all things well. Even in our humanness, where we can't, he is ever present and he picks up the slack. So, you got to be actively working on your relationship with him, and that allows you space to actively work on your relationship with yourself. And part of working on that a big part of working on that relationship with yourself is believing that you can, is seeing yourself successful, speaking that success over your life, believing that you are worthy of the promise. Some of us have to takes a little bit more convincing than others to get to that space, because we've lived for so long in a space of doubt, in a space of I can't, in a space of fear, in a space of I'm not worthy. Some of us are damaged from childhood traumas. Some of us are damaged from, ill words spoken over us, word curses, generational issues, things that we have to work through. And this is where working on our mental health and our healing becomes important. Because as you go through the process of working through those things, it frees you up and frees up the space in you, as we spoke about last episode, to be able to receive from God. When we are stuffed so full of all the crap that the world throws at us, we do not have room to receive from God. And so, healing gives us that space, and it also gives us the mental capacity to accept it. Right? Because something could be right in front of your face, but if you don't have the mental capacity to accept it, it's just going to sit there. You have to be able to get in alignment with it and absorb it. But sometimes we are so stuck in a lot of the negative and the I can't, and it's not for me, and I'm not worthy of that, and that's not who I am, and all those things, that we are unable to receive God's perfect plan for us, because we get in our own way, our own fears, again, being harder on ourselves than anybody else could ever be. How many of us judge ourselves more harshly than the world ever has? And we make room for people to judge us in that way. And we don't have the strength or courage to push back. But when you believe God and you trust him and you sincerely know that he has your back, and you are in alignment with his word for you, and you are in right relationship with him, there is no battle that you won't enter into that he won't ensure that you are prepared for. There's no situation that he's going to put you in that he won't give you the tools to come out of. You might have to work a little bit, but again, work if you're not going to work for it, then it's not worth having. He's not a genie. We can't rub the lamp and poof, get our wishes. I wish we could. But we can't. And so sometimes there are some things that we are going to have to work for. And in working for it, you're actually learning, because you're going to learn that process. You're going to learn the process it takes to get to where you need to be. You're going to learn all the little things it takes to build, even when it's building you up. So when you learn that healing process of what it takes to build you up to get to where you need to be to actually launch the vision, there's skills in that. There's coping mechanisms. There's processes. You're learning how to lay it down and walk away from it, because laying something down and walking away from it, that's a process. Some of us don't know how to take our hands off of things. I'm one of them. Some of us, want to hold on to things so tightly and so closely. And for me, as people, that I have to often remind myself that I'm not their God. Although my heart is in the right place, my hands are not. Because I may want to believe for you 110% and want all the greatest things for you in the world. But if you've not gone through God's process, then I'm just in the way. So for me, I had to learn how to just remove my hand from people, places, and things that were no longer for me. I had planted the seeds, maybe, or maybe God had used me to water. And there were situations where God had used me to harvest. But in every situation, every part was not for me to play. So there are skills in that you will learn and develop as you go through the process of building you up. Confidence is contagious. When you learn to be confident in you, because again, that is a learning curve, being confident is infectious. Then you can pass that on and it will spread like wildfire. Once you learn and how to be confident in yourself and in your skills, then you can help other people be confident in them too. That's a skill. That is something that you can use. When you learn how to do that, when it comes for you, when it comes to your business and your vision or your brand or whatever it is God gives you, your ministry, you have already conquered that. It will make it easier for you to walk it out because you've learned to be confident in you and the you that God believes you to be. And once you become confident in who God has called you to be, nobody will be able to shake you. And if they do, then you need to go back and you need to take that back to God and let Him readjust your posture. How many times have we taken a chance on things far less promising? We take a chance every time we go down to Walmart and pray is some eggs in that refrigerator or some bacon on the shelf or some milk. That's a chance because they could very well be sold out. They could have very well not gotten a delivery, but we will still get in our cars, drive over there, and hope and pray that they have the supplies that we need to feed our families. We take a chance every time we get up and get on the highway to work. There's a chance you may not make it home. We take a chance that the other drivers around us are going to obey the laws of the land. They're going to drive correctly. They're going to be sober. They're going to be old enough to drive. They're going to have a driver's license. They're going to have car insurance. We take that chance every time we get up, go out the door, and get on the highway to get to wherever it is we need to be. So why can't we take an equally as big of a chance on ourselves? Because those with, the highway could be very dangerous. You could very well not make it home. So when we go get on the highway, we're gambling with our lives. So why not gamble and take a chance on God and His promise for us? Why not gamble and take a chance on yourself and believe that you can and you will and you deserve it? Make sense? We gamble on a lot of things. It costs you nothing to take a chance on God's heart for you. Not one thing. What will it cost you to take a chance on a God who never fails? If we could take a chance on the world, who has shown us time and time again that it is absolutely capable of failing and not doing right, what will it cost you to take a chance on God and having faith and taking a chance on you? You have to find you worth it. You have to find you worthy of the promise. You have to find value in you first. Because when you find value in you, Others don't have a choice but to see it. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Sis, you are worthy of the promise that God has for you, and you are worth the investment in yourself. And once you invest in you, and once you do the work to get to where you need to be, and you start evolving the way you should be evolving, in the way that you deserve to be evolving, no one will be able to stop you. No man will be able to get in the way of what God has already put in motion. You just need to get in alignment with it. You need to take a chance on you. You need to believe that you can. You need to believe that you will. Once you put that one foot forward, it is done. It's already in motion. Keep moving. Don't stop. For what? Don't look back. Look back for what? What's back there? Because if it's back there, that means you left it behind for a reason. Train your eyes forward and just keep pushing through to the promise. Do the work. Do the work. You have to find you worth it enough to fight for. And everything doesn't have to be a big grand battle. It could just be today, I'm going to say a prayer before my feet hit the floor. I'm going to push myself to go a little bit further today than I did yesterday. Yesterday, I wasn't able. I just didn't have it in me. I couldn't make it past going downstairs to, do some dishes. Today, I'm going to maybe do the dishes, maybe put on a little makeup. Today, I'm going to take a walk outside of my home. I'm going to go for a walk around the block. Or maybe if I can't make it around the block, I'm going to try to make it to the corner. Maybe I'll just try to make it to the mailbox. But every day, you push yourself a little bit harder to go a little bit further for a little bit longer. And you will recondition yourself to keep moving. And once the wheels start turning and you let God do what God's going to do, there will be no stopping you. There is greatness in all of us. We just have to get there. And I understand it's not an easy process. Because again, I'm not sharing anything with you that I've not done myself. And still doing, because every day is another day to try harder. Every day is a new set of challenges that I need to overcome. But I'm committed to do the work. I'm committed to push a little bit harder every day to get a little bit further. Even if I'm not seeing immediate results, I'm going to push. Even if it hurts, I'm going to push. There might be tears streaming down my face as I'm pushing, but I'm going to push because I think I'm worth it. And I know God finds me worth it. And I trust him. And because I trust him, I trust his plan and purpose for my life. And I know that a key component to the plan and purpose he has for me is me. Is me being the best version of myself. Is me being the strongest version of myself. Is me actually being true to myself. Is me loving the skin that I'm in and loving me more. That makes me the masterpiece and the master's plan for my life. So I'm going to push a little bit harder. I'm going to push a little bit further. And at some point, it will become easy for me to get in motion and to get moving. 5 seconds to change a thought. So if I wake up with an ill thought in my head, I just don't feel like it today. I'm just so tired. I'm so defeated. 5 seconds to change that thought. I may not be able to get everything off the list today, but I'm going to at least try to accomplish one thing off my list today. For me. And then I'll get to everybody else. But I'm going to do at least one thing today for me. Because I need to actively work on my relationship with me. I need to see me the way that God sees me. Because that's important. So I push a little bit harder. Work a little bit smarter. And after a while, it just becomes routine. But again, you have to put in the effort and you have to believe that you can do it. You have to believe that you're worthy. And you are. In purpose, on purpose, with purpose. Everything has a purpose. Even the smallest thing on this earth has a purpose. Trust the God that you serve. He doesn't make mistakes, and he didn't make a mistake when he made you. You just have to believe that what he called you to be is what he called you to be. And when you can't do anything else, call out to him. Lord, I'm tired. I'm weary from carrying the pain of yesterday, the stress of today, and the fear of what's to come. Father, today I rest in you. I give you my troubles. Help me to not walk in fear, but to be confident in you and trust you in all things and in all ways. Amen. And leave it. Leave it with him and allow him to do what only God can do. And I know it sounds simple, but I also know how trivial it is to walk that out. So it takes a little bit of effort. Do you find you worth the effort? Because I do. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see all these God-given visions come to fruition. I'm excited to see you be your best self. I'm excited for you to walk out your purpose. I'm excited to see you healthy, whole, and happy. Genuinely happy, living the soft life you deserve. Because oftentimes we get so caught up in being in motion and having to do and having to be in charge that sometimes we really just don't want to. We just don't want to make a decision. We just want to just be still. And you deserve that. All of us do. Now, don't get me wrong, life still has to go on. Life still will life. But we are entitled to those moments where we just need to take a step back and just be us as individuals, as human beings, not mom, not wife, not worker. We just need to be us as individuals. And that's okay. That's why having a relationship with yourself and knowing your knowing your worth, knowing your limits, knowing when to say when, your love language, all of those things becomes important. But you won't know those things until you build a greater relationship with yourself. Because that's an important relationship to have. So I challenge you today to start working on your relationship with yourself, to work on how you see yourself and loving and valuing yourself the way God loves and values us. That is the challenge for today. Sit back and think about how much you value you. Think of some things that you could do better for you. And then I want you to write the vision and make it plain. Write the vision of how you plan to execute being in a better relationship with you. And then after you write it down, I want you to go back and I want you to read it. And then I want you to start checking off the list and begin to execute those things and be honest with this list. So that as you start checking off the list and you start executing these things, you can see real change, effective changes come into place in your life. Even if it's something as simple as setting boundaries, those are important. Boundaries are important. So start wherever it is. Things that I need to take at least 10 minutes to have a cup of tea and read. 5 minutes to just go sit in the backyard and breathe. But this is what I need. Maybe add an extra 5 minutes to your shower where you just get to let the water rain down on you and you have a moment of worship, prayer, whatever it is. Write it down. Put it on your list and start to check off the list after you've written it and reviewed it, and start to execute those things and put those things into action so that you can have and work on a better relationship with you, because you deserve it. What good are you going to be to anybody around you, your families, if you just keep sacrificing yourself? If you just keep putting your needs and desires on the back burner? That's not what God created us for. Obedience is definitely better than sacrifice, because you'll be useless if you just continue to just give, and you're not putting anything back. You're not leaving any room for God to pour in. You're not leaving any room for maybe the people around you that love you, that want to pour in and encourage you. There's no room for that. So in this season of self-discovery, and learning to love ourselves, we have to create better relationship, not just with God, but with ourselves. So that is your challenge for this week. I challenge you to be better to you. I challenge you to put a plan in place to be better to you. And then I want to hear about it. And again, if you are a person who is launching the vision and you feel like there's something you can share with the masses, then I want to hear from you. I want to see you. I want to know about it so we can share it with everybody else, because even small accomplishments need to be celebrated. And I celebrate you today, sis, in all of your greatness. Now, I will see you all next week. Thank you for joining me. Again, you can get your copy of the devotional at ShalimarSherie.com. For a signed copy, it is also available on Amazon, and I believe Barnes & Nobles and Walmart as well. There are also a host of other things and tools and resources for you to use on my website. Life coaching. I have some great businesses that I've listed, and other women and men who have launched the vision. Because yes, it's launched the vision, sis, but we highlight anybody who has launched the vision. And some of my bros is out there doing it. So I have some resources out there for you, up there for you. And again, I have a host of written resources for you as well if you want to get on to begin your journey of healing and wholeness and launching your vision, and planners and notebooks and anything that God has given me. I have put it out there because I'm going to be obedient in this season. So I hope you find something that is can help you on your journey. I will see you all next week for day 6 of the devotional. I'll also be looking around at, maybe dropping some bonus content in between. But for now, we are going to continue on with, the devotional. So I will see you all next week for day 6. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you all. And as always, the sun rises and sets every day alone and still manages to shine. The moon rises alone every night and still manages to light someone's way. Be the light in purpose, on purpose, and with purpose. Launch the vision, sis.
I am saved, healed, and enough. It is my winning season. She has emerged. Welcome to the manifestation of me.